What's up, YouTube, man? It's your boy, Send Juju, Malachi here, and as always, I'm with
Send Juju.
And as y'all can see, or tell by the title, we reacted to some spooky, scary stories animated part 2. As y'all can tell in the last video, the audio was messed up, where I was louder than the actual video, or the video was louder than me. It was one of those two. And yeah, so me and him were messing around with the OBS and all that, and yeah, it's fine now. So we decided to get that part 2 going on right now. And sorry if the camera looks weird. I said where you can see both us in the video. So yeah, let's get straight into it. You can hear?
On a cold, dark night, around 2 in the morning, a young man and his father sat in a remote 24-hour diner waiting to be served. The older man, who was sadly, slowly going senile, had insisted on going out for some soup. Not having the energy to argue, the son took him out, for at least this way his father would be happy, and then he could get some peace and quiet. The waiter walked over, welcomed them to the diner, and then asked if they were ready to order, to which they replied they were. The waiter recommended for them to try the burgers. Best in the West, he said, with a smile that made their skin crawl.
Oh my gosh.
They declined and proceeded to order what they came for. The old man ordered tomato soup, and the son a coffee.
A coffee.
When the waiter walked away, the son asked his father if he had thought the waiter looked familiar. Not surprisingly, the father said he had never seen him before. But why? He asked. The son proceeded to tell him that he thought he looked a lot like a man he saw on the news that was wanted for murder in another state.
What the?
But he could easily be mistaken. This made the father quite uncomfortable, so he told his son to shut up and change the subject. Instead, the son then got up, told his father he was going to the bathroom and would be back in a minute.
Oh my gosh.
The father waited and waited. Almost 15 minutes had passed, and his son hadn't returned.
Yeah, he got his butt
He also hadn't seen the waiter again. Where was his son? And where was his soup? Just as he finished asking himself this, the waiter appeared with the soup.
Oh, that's blood.
Well, you took your time with that, the old man said. I'm sorry, sir, said the waiter. We had some issues in the kitchen. Where's my son? The old man asked the waiter. Oh, I'm sure he's not far. I have a feeling you'll be seeing him really soon. And with this, he placed the bowl down on the table with a smile that would have given anyone the creeps. The old man turned to his soup and then dipped his spoon in to take his first mouthful. As he lifted the spoon, something else came with it.
Oh my gosh.
Some glasses. What the hell? He thought to himself. A horrible chill ran through his body when he realized whose glasses they were. His son's. The old man looked across at the waiter and was overcome with rage when he saw the waiter's sickly grin staring back at him. He grabbed a knife, leapt out of his seat, and stabbed the waiter in the chest. The blade went straight through his heart, and while bleeding profusely all over the floor, he died. Right at this moment, the son appeared from the kitchen and screamed at his father.
What?
No! What have you done? It was a prank. We were playing a prank.
What?
The old man couldn't believe what he was hearing. A prank? But he's a... Oh my God, he thought to himself as the reality quickly set in. I've killed him. The father and son had to act quickly. They grabbed the body and decided to stash it in the cool room to buy them some time. They would then clean the floor and disappear as if they had never been there. Perfect, they thought. There were no witnesses and no one to stop them. Well, that's what they thought, until they slid back the door to the cool room and were greeted by a sight so shocking it made both of them wish they were dead. They had disturbed the waiter's brother, hard at work, making meat for burgers. The best in the West, apparently. Not that they would ever know.
Man, cuz you stupid. Man, what's your thoughts on that, man? What's going on? What's going through your head, man?
Why would you? Oh my God, man. I don't
Here's part 2. My grandmother tried to kill me.
It was
Or
April
story-
of 2007, and my birthday was approaching. Most of my family had already told me the gifts I would receive, like a new Wii along with video games for it. My grandmother didn't tell me anything. Now, my grandmother had always been a strange woman. She wasn't very talkative, but I liked to hear the stories she told. They were creepy, but intriguing. She told me she was going to give me a book. She didn't show it to me, nor did she tell me what it was about. Once my birthday rolled around, I was opening gifts from my loved ones. When I got to my grandmother's present, I opened it up and I saw a book with a pentagram carved into its front cover.
What?
I picked it up and thought nothing of it, because at the time, I didn't know what the shape was or what it meant. As soon as I grabbed it, though, everything went pitch black. When I woke up, my family was surrounding me, and my mom was scolding my grandmother about giving me the book. My grandmother looked at me, but her eyes were evil-looking. That night, when I went to bed, I was having a pretty good dream. But suddenly, something woke me up. I looked around and saw nothing. Then, suddenly, I saw a shadowy figure in the doorway looking at me.
Yeah.
This wasn't a case of sleep paralysis because I was able to move, but that didn't comfort me because that meant it was real life. The figure crept closer and closer to me. When I looked closer at the figure, I saw gray hair and crooked teeth.
Oh my gosh.
That's when I knew it was my grandmother. I screamed and ran past her, but she grabbed me and tossed me back.
You better sock her then.
I noticed she had
Exactly.
something in her hand, but I couldn't tell what it was.
A knife, boy.
I saw one of my toys that I had gotten a few years ago,
Yeah,
picked it up and
Dang,
threw it at her.
man, fuck going on.
She fell
man.
to the ground and I ran past her, telling my parents. My parents called the police and they got there and arrested her. The thing she had in her hand was a knife,
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
and she was planning on killing me.
Yeah, you were sacrificed.
To this day, I wonder what would have happened if that toy wasn't lying there.
You would have been dead.
Yeah, you would have got that butt took. Dang, fuck going on. What's your thoughts on this one too? Dang, what's going on?
His grandmother is evil. She the devil.
Yeah, she was.
Why
for
would she
sure
give him
the
that
devil.
book? They can pass out.
Exactly. Dang. Probably fucking got poison on that book or something. Fuck going on. Alright, y'all. Last one. True Home Alone horror story animated.
I'm 30 years old. In this story,
Oh my gosh, nigga, buzz
my
deep,
mother was
dude.
a single mom, and she had to work 2 jobs.
Work 2 jobs.
She worked at a grocery store in the morning,
Hold on, y'all. Sorry, I gotta turn off the subtitles. It's not ending up, man.
in a bar at night. So I was home alone a lot, but it was okay because I was used to it. I could cook myself some dinner and walk back and forth to school. I was a pretty responsible kid for my age.
Okay.
One night, I was watching TV while eating
Same
ice cream,
house, you see this? What
and
the
someone
heck?
knocked at the front door.
Oh,
I was wondering who it could be, as my
gosh.
friends never came out this late and my mom would always use her key to get in. I
No
opened the
answer.
door,
Oh my.
and it was a man standing there with his hands in his pockets. I said hello.
Holding down that
He
boner, nigga.
replied, "Hello, young lady. Are your parents home?"
Yes.
Stupidly, I said no. My mom isn't home right now. You have to come back tomorrow. He then said with a surprised smile on his face, "Oh, you're all alone, huh?"
Oh no.
I said, yeah, I am. He replied with, "Okay, young lady. Have a nice night. Don't get into any trouble."
Yeah, he'll be
He
seeing
then
you
walked
soon.
away.
Yeah, he
and I
will be
closed
seeing
the
you
door.
soon, man. You didn't lock the door?
He seemed friendly, but also weird at the same time. He was a little funny looking though. He was balding and had 70s style glasses on,
Oh my
with a
gosh.
mustache and bags under his eyes like he never slept.
Like he never slept.
About 10 minutes passed, and there was another knock at the door.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I got up to answer it.
He taking that button in.
Before I opened the door, something told me to put the chain on. I
Oh,
don't know why, but my gut told me to do that.
do it.
It was strange because we really didn't use the chain. But I'm glad I did, because as soon as I opened the door, it was pushed open.
Oh, good
but it
stuff.
wasn't stopped by the chain.
Good stuff.
Before I could even say or do anything, I looked through the crack of the door to see the
You better
same
get the
man
bat. See,
again.
grab the bat. There's no
And he said
slipping.
in a startled voice, oh, hey there. I just wanted to make sure you were okay.
Oh
As he
my
stuttered.
gosh.
It was like he knew he failed getting inside the house and tried to play off any suspicion
Yeah, you
by
idiot.
speaking quickly
Fuck
and
going
making
on.
it seem like he didn't just obviously try coming into the house. I said, I'm fine, thanks. And I shut the door.
Yeah, shut that.
Good stuff, man.
At that time, I didn't really understand the situation or
Oh.
the dangers of what just happened.
Cuz was coming for you.
But
man.
still, I was a bit freaked out and wanted my mom to come home soon. An hour went by, and I was still thinking about what happened, so I started to watch a movie, trying to keep my mind occupied.
Wow. Remember that
When
in
I heard-
Wisdom Clause video?
Hey, let me in quick. I gotta tell you something.
The fuck?
This was the scariest situation
Man,
I've
run
ever
to the
been in
kitchen,
my
get a
life.
knife. Mm.
It was the
He can
man
shove
who
his hand
again,
through the
he was
thing.
talking through the letterbox. I shouted, "Leave me alone." The letterbox closed. Then the man started banging on the front door, screaming, "Let me in, you little shit," while slamming the front door handle up and down, trying to get in. I just stood back crying, praying he doesn't get in.
He was trying to
He
open them
eventually
cheeks,
gave up
man.
and left. My mom came home about 30 minutes later, just to find me crying. And I told her everything that happened. We told the police, but they never found this guy. I look back, and I think how grateful I am that I had the feeling to put the chain on the door. I hate to think what that man would have done if he had managed to get in.
Wow. What's your thoughts on those things? What's going on?
That whoever that was, you're an idiot. And you should always have a weapon, just in case.
Exactly, and then grab the bat. Like I said, there's no slipping in. There's no slipping in. Well, guys, if you guys did enjoy, man, please smash that like button. Subscribe if you guys are new. You enjoyed it? Well, yeah, like I said, hope you guys did enjoy. Let me know down in the comments down below if you guys want more stuff like this. You know, I'll be happy to do it. You know what I'm saying? Scare games on the way, more videos on the way. I'm just taking a break. You know, taking my time with the edits and stuff. Don't got no more school, so thankful for that. And yeah, it's been your boy Send Juju, Malachi here, and we're out. Peace.